Oi, oi, it's your boy, T-minus 13 minutes away from an FP2, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix 2024, and I am here for it. We are here for it. Let's get it. And through goes Hamilton. And through goes Charles Leclerc, aka modern day journalese. As some might say, as so it might have happened. Did you see Charles Leclerc stuck it again? And I shouldn't revel in this stuff, should I? I don't want to do the Schadenfreude thing and be like, yes, I told you, Charles Leclerc is going to put it in the barrier again. Why? Because he's a brilliant driver. But it's hard as a human being not to wade sometimes through the very murky waters of vengefulness. So frequent and fervent have the criticisms of my characterisation of Charles Leclerc, aka modern day journalese, been by the Charles Fossey. No, we won't stand for that. No, we won't have it. We're not having that. T-minus 12 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Lando does have a chat. Go on and let's talk about straight into the Lando slander again. Look, I had a comment just now. And again, F1 toxicity is a serious thing. We're going to talk about press conference and Christian Horner had some things to say, didn't he? Oh, bloody Nora, where do I start? Right, let's talk about Lando. Because I had a comment just now that said, no sound. Oh, bloody Nora, can you guys hear sound in the background? Thank you. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. Just an incident of the race, you know? Just an incident of a race. Thank you, living on the edge, you're a legend, sir. Here's where it is. Lando Norris. I just had a comment. I should read it out verbatim. I'm like, what are you talking about? People love to talk such nonsense. Go on, you know what? I'm gonna try and read it out because in this instance, it's gonna facilitate self-facilitation of scorched earth. Let me read out this comment just so you can understand how crazy some people are. I mean, this makes no sense. I will keep the name of the poster anonymous because it's only fair. But I've seen the comment. I was just like, what are you talking about, chap? All right, look. He said 4 minutes into your video and I am out. Not going to listen to this. Let Lando buy crap. You know what? If you want to watch the video, then watch the video. If you don't want to watch the video, then the world is... This is a free country. Do you know what I mean? Free will is a thing as of the 9th, 2024. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do what you want, mate. You can love or dislike or loathe the videos. I'm nobody's keeper. I'm definitely not anybody's gatekeeper. I love that you guys come to the channel and watch the videos and engage with like this. But if people don't want to watch, then who am I to proselytize somebody, to bring somebody to the truth and the light and the God tier back and forth that this channel tries to epitomize? So, you know what, if he wants to... But then, this second portion, because we're talking about motorsport now, let Lando crap, or let Lando buy crap. Let Lando buy crap. Look, life is much harder than this, you know. Formula 1 is difficult, but in life, you've got to make some serious decisions, right, as far as your friends, your family, like your career, your health decisions in real time. Like, life is harder than this. Look, as far as McLaren are concerned, what do you mean let Lando buy crap? What are you talking about? Lando's been dominant thus far this season as far as the interaction that he's had with his teammate Oscar Piastri. Isn't he like, he's dominant? I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Isn't he like 13-3 or something as far as qualifying? And the numbers aren't massively dissimilar as far as the rate. Like, Lando's dominating. That ultimately, though, fades to black. All you need to know if you're McLaren, Stella, Zach Brown, Lando and Oscar Jack Piastri is that there is one man at the McLaren team who has a better chance of being able to beat Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. That driver has a name. That driver's name is Lando Norris. That's the start and the finish of this. I don't want to hear anything else. What do you mean, let Lando buy crap? What do you mean? What, last race, Oscar Jack Piastri was in second position? What are we doing here? What does that 18 points matter to him? This is like barbershop talk. Like, my daddy is bigger and stronger than your daddy. What does it matter? When all's said and done, all that matters is who's got more points in a driver's standing and who's got more points in a constructor's standing. Let Lando buy. Or you know what? Don't let Lando buy. If you want to if you want to die on the hill that is meritocracy and bureaucracy, if you want to die on the hill that is lost opportunity at the hands of equal opportunity across the board each and every single time, then that's cool and calm. But I don't want to hear anyone complaining, any one of these mouth breathers talking like this. I don't want to hear them lot complaining when Lando loses the championship by 10 points or less, the 3 points that he lost last time round, or the 7 points before then at Hungary. Don't want to hear it from them. All of these bods, these mouth breathers, always wise after the bloody event. I can't take a bloody Monday morning quarterback, you know. Again, goes back to classic critical path analysis. What do you want? Where do you want to go? And then construct the plan going forward. Or what's the POA? What do we have to get from here to get to there? Done. And if you've got to crack some eggs and make some decisions and have some big boy conversations and put on your big boy pack, then that's what McLaren want to do. Or else sack it off and just give the Drivers' Championship to bloody Maximilian Verstappen. That's okay as well. This other fella, this flipping, and again, forgive me getting disparaging and scorched stuff so early on in the stream, T-minus 5 minutes away from a cheeky FP2. But said aforementioned F1 mouth breather continues, Cameron, you're so off on this. Sad that you're losing fans on your channel. Definitely a turn off to hear you babble this bull feathers. If Lando is faster than Piastri, he can beat him heads up. You are literally asking him to let Lando by. Oh, you're a legend, Anthony V. Appreciate the kindness, mate. It's what is that person talking about? What are they on about here? Let Lando by. You know what? Again, I'm going to take my own advice, right? Because it's clear that some fans are new to the sport and they didn't watch like Schumacher back in the day and the level of ruthlessness that he affected and exercised, leveraged upon the other 19 on the grid. You didn't watch 97 and Perez. You didn't watch 94 Adelaide. You know what I mean? Didn't watch 1988 and 1989, 89 and 90 between Senna and Prost and the chaos that was. These lot are clearly brand new. And in that sense, maybe I don't need to go scorched earth and I need to extend this fella, this F1 mouth breather, some grace, talking about let Lando by. What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to win a Drivers' Championship or you don't want to? Because if you do want it, then you need to make some decisions soon, forthwith. That's all that this is. No more complicated or simple than that. Let Lando by. You need to let these guys race. You have people that talk like that have never watched F1, or at least they talk as if they haven't. And that's fine. You know what I mean? We all come at the sport from different perspectives, and far be it for me to be the keep that gates F1s, you know what I mean? Anthony V, you're a legend. Just had a thought. Imagine you went to McLaren. It was close though when Alonso was there with the GP2 engine. I don't think he would have gone. Anthony V is the honest answer. Adrian, we'll talk about it. Let me finish with Erica. So much could have changed. I don't think Alonso would have slandered Honda with Newey there, and the whole F1 landscape would be completely different. I love what you've done there, Anthony V, and thank you so much for the generosity and the support for the channel. F1 sliding doors is techie, especially where Fernando Alonso is concerned. As brilliant as he is, as fantastic as an F1 mind as El Plan is, the guy that they call Magic in Spain, courtesy of Labato. The sliding door things is chaos. I keep seeing this stat that had Fernando's like 8 points over the course of his career away from being a 5-time world champion as opposed to a 2-time. 2012 was noteworthy that he didn't miss by much, right? So I think sliding doors, the racing gods have turned their back on Fernando Alonso, and many Sir Carl Lewis, look at me, Olympics, Cameron. You never know that I liked athletics, right? Sir Carl Lewis. Many Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton fans get it right second time round, Cameron. Many Lewis fans have said that this is just karmic justice, right? That Alonso has been not a nice bloke for the longest time, and that 5 points, or that 8 points even, that he's shy of being a 5-time champion is just the racing gods doing what the racing gods do, right? And plying their karmic justice trade, per se, if you know what I mean. But I take your point though, Anthony. I think as far as Adrian Newey though, he's a bit too savvy. to go to a team. Adrian Newey's story, as far as the challenge that he seeks at Aston Martin, is Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Not too hot, not too cold, just right. And when I'm talking about heat, switch heat extents, for difficulty extents, challenge. Adrian Newey absolutely wants himself a challenge, but Williams is probably too cold as far as how close they are to winning themselves a championship. McLaren, on the other side of things, are probably too hot because they've already got the car. I mean, he sprinkles, right? Why would he go to McLaren and not have the capability to institute for change and get some credit, right? Adrian did it again, turned another team around again. That's his 13th drivers, his 12th contract. Do you know what I mean? That's what Adrian's seeking. So, but I think, as brilliant as it is, and this is barbershop talk now, Anthony V, right? As brilliant as it is, it would have been to see Adrian Newey at the McLaren back in the day when Alonso was there during his second stint. I don't think he would have picked that up. I mean, he's already in his book, Adrian Newey, he talks about how much he hated the fact that Renault, that they wouldn't look, if you're an engine, Alpine a case in point on this, if you're an engine manufacturer and your senior stakeholders, the shareholders, the CEO, the chair at that automotive manufacturer, the engine manufacturer, if they're not on board, then there's no point. This is why Alpine are half in, half out. It's not working. Meant to be investing 100 million per year as far as building the new engine, and they're like half that, anywhere between 45 and 40 minutes. So what's the point then? You know what I mean? So if I just don't think Adrian Newey would have wanted at that stage of his career to get involved in another situation where you're not just able to build yourself a fast car, where that's not just the first and last order priority. That's what Adrian Newey needs. He needs to be siloed, right? Put him in the creative loom in the back cave and let him get his pen out and draw like a market leading car. He doesn't care. If he builds a fast car and then you put that Honda GP2 engine per Fernando Plan Alonso, then he's not going to be pleased. So I think it would have been too cold a challenge, too difficult a challenge for one Adrian Newey that. But thank you, Anthony. You're far too generous, sir. Murray in your camp. Schumacher was the best for me. You know what's Murray said? Murray says, I don't like team orders, but I'm also a massive Schumacher fan. Oh, the dichotomy. Oh, the humanity. A juxtaposition if ever I've heard one. Murray, problem is, Verstappen's teammate is not Piastri or Sainz, so Verstappen, despite his greatness, has one less major problem. He's got 99 problems, but a Perez isn't one, isn't it? You gotta go for light for light. This is why when I read out this nonsense, why would you let Lando just come free? Well, because you want to win a driver's championship. That's why. You know what I mean? Establish the rules of engagement at the outset. What do you want, and how can you best and most expeditiously go about getting it? For McLaren, if they want themselves a driver's championship, then institute for team orders. Don't allow for another Monza to happen where you're just giving up points willy-nilly, because when you get to the end of the season and Lando Norris is 10 points adrift of Max Verstappen, and you do the bloody post-mortem and realise that at Hungary you gave away 7 and then at Monza you gave an additional 3. It's like, what the nonsense? I don't know. And I'm not a big Will Buxton fan, I'll be honest. As much as he's done for F1 and Drive to Survivation and narration and all this and applying a bit of personality, but he was absolutely on the money when he spoke about McLaren, that they're giving it away and maybe it's ineptitude and willful neglect. Maybe they don't even care about the drivers and they're just on about the constructors. Right, we have ourselves a cheeky FP2, and I'm here nattering away about McLaren, but it will be the narrative. Come on, Cam, you want to be an accountant with a calculator or a PC? That's what Newey choose for. Oof, mate. Techie. Go on, and let's get some. What am I doing? Let me get some metrics up here. And again, metrics are brought to you today by the go-to app ever in the F1 space called Multi. What a joke! I'm a joker, aren't I? Here we go. No. Talking about some concern at the Alpine camp. Why? Because of what we just talked about, right? Their engine is too underpowered. Their car too overweight. Their party as a race team too fractious and divided. What are we doing here? Numpty's 136 if you're watching Coca-Cola. Do me a favour, smash a like. You guys are legends. This channel, this fan channel is the house that you guys built. I'm just a conduit. My name is just the name above the door. Cameron CC. Do you know what I mean? Despite me liking Lando, Verstappen reminds me of Schumacher. He wins the races he shouldn't win, so I'm kind of torn. But ultimately, it's stupid for Lando to fight Perez. He shouldn't have to, Murray. Not at this stage. Not at this stage. What? Like, can't fight a battle with Max Verstappen and Red Bull with one hand behind your back. Like, it doesn't. Qualifying predictions too early. Benzie news probably a bit too early. Go on, we'll get a cheeky poll out there, but probably a bit too early. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's go. Oh no, he's flopped it. Look at that. End that. Sorry. Too premature, Cameron. Jumped the gun and all that. Technical nod. This is what happens when you're the channel owner and producer, both pre and post. Do you know what I mean? It's technical difficulties. We are checking. We are checking. You know, we are checking. Plan A, B, C, D, C, H. Lando is correct. We are checking. We are checking. 140 of you watching Conconi, do me a favour and smash that like, por favor. Who's the other person that can get on pole? Oscar, Max, Lando. Who's the other bloke? Lewis? No, it's not Lewis. There's somebody else when I checked my odds that can make it on pole that was a tad unexpected. Oscar. Claro que sí, hacer. Claro que sí. Right. Get your votes in, Shaw. The crash on pole. Say techie. I'm back in Charlotte if they can get the cut. But he's already lost time. I don't know. He's so quick, but he's so frustrated at the same time. What's the point? Jan says Lewis. Lewis will go well to get on pole. It'll have to be another Austrian lap like a couple of years ago. Was it Austria or no, Hungary? So. Who's saying that it needs to come in? Traffic issues, hot seats, hot car, everything's going on at Mercedes. Do you know what I mean? Pole, Max second. Surf Source says pole Max, second Leclerc, Piastri third, fourth Lewis, fifth Norris. Surf Source, you cannot be serious. Nah. I think Lewis might I think Lando might come to get it. He should never back against. Lando's just train wreck. Who's more of a train wreck, Lando or Charlie's? Answer your own question, mate. Charlie's definitely much more of a train wreck. Over the course of his career, much more mistakes of consequence. I'll be honest. Although Lando's making a good go of it, isn't he? catching Charlie in the stakes. RB was slow in the straight in FP1. Let's see if they're changing their settings. Brought a new floor, by the way. Barack. Well, at least during next season, Sir Lewis becomes team leader again. What do you mean again? Ron Real. Put some respect on his name. What do you mean? Have you seen the standings? Race standings, not qualifying. I'm sitting in my office FP2 camp. Hopefully nobody... Yeah, lazy. I hear that. I woke up very, very early to put in a shift this morning. Smashing out work from about 7 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? Wary that I needed to jump on here for FP. Go on then, Max. Is this Max? I know it's Perez. I knew it was a Max. Oh my gosh. Leclerc says, check the data, but methinks the car is bent somewhere. I wonder why Mr. Modern Day Journalazy, whatever could have done that, Charles? It's not like you were in the barrier in the previous section and all that. Do you know what I mean? It's not like your engineers had only a couple of hours to turn around that car, whose wheel was bent into the bloody barrier. I wonder who was to blame for that. Charles Leclerc. Dennis says, I love your idiot. Did you see the F2? Isaac, yeah, I saw them walking away, Max. I didn't see the incident between Hajar and Pepe Marti. I didn't see it. It didn't look for it. It looked like they were trying to be friendly, but it looked like they wanted to be in their mind's eye, in their heart of hearts. It looked like they wanted to be less than friendly. Do you know what I mean? More than 29 people. You're a legend, lazy. Do me a favour, smash the like, por favor. If we get to 100 likes, I'll tell you guys this Jensen Button story. Oh. Colour Science waiting for a bit of feedback. Cam Checker will outperform Max this weekend. You know what, Nate? It's not a bad shout. Never bet against Maximilian Verstappen. Not as at the 9th month of the 2024 year. But Checo does go well around here, doesn't he? The only driver to have won twice around back. It suits his style. Nice front limited or rear limited track even, where the emphasis is on the combined exit and your ability to get on the throttle as soon as possible without losing the rear of the car. Ted Kravitz talking about an engine change. Blame the dirt on the outside. Barack, I'm not even on about the mistake, as far as Charles Leclerc is concerned. Everybody makes mistakes, right? And he makes a lot of them. And consequential ones. Oh, look now, Charles Leclerc's chassis bent. You're going to have to give up FP2, mate. You can't drive a cut and shut dangerous car, Charles, but bring it in before you get black flag, chap. But my qualm with what Charles did, I was saying to you, I was going back and forth with Shez actually, between now and FP1. And my principal qualm with Charles Leclerc is that I feel like he's Charles Leclerc, box, mate. You got issues, chap. You have issues, do you know what I mean? Come on, Charles. Momentum gone. And again, super quick around here, but he's issues. No, my issue with Charles, yeah, dirty track and whatever, but you know what I mean? It's not like you were born yesterday, Charles. You're plenty good enough and supposed to be plenty wise enough to account for these things in real time. My issue with Charles is this. Just go down the runoff area. As I reacted in real time when I saw the replay, you were taking your minimum speed through there. Just, you can't like beat physics. As much as people want to say outperform the car and yet drivers can't beat physics. If you're taking too much speed through the turn for the car, what do you think is going to happen? And again, Stevie Wonder looking at the replay can see that Charles Leclerc was taking far too much pace through that bloody slow minimum speed turn. Ergo, as soon as you clock it, mate, take evasive action, and go down the runoff area. Surely, Charles, that's the answer. Pierre looking good. Oscar Piastri. Leclerc's in bothering Pratt. Yeah, he's got to go in pit, hasn't he? So Oscar Piastri. So Charles Leclerc even having stacked it in FP1. Another classic mistake. The latest in the long list of unforced errors from Charles Leclerc around a track that he's meant to be very good at, by the way. Not long after the Monza Grand Prix, where he was incredible at, by the way. But this is the bloody yin and yang, right? Like, you can't, there's no like, do you know what I mean? He's either the best driver that you've ever seen, Charles, aka modern day Journalese, a la Monza, the Italian Grand Prix, a god tier second stint, goes for like 1,000 laps on one set of tyres when he's got bloody Piastri breathing down his neck. God tier, incredible, reminiscent of Senna and Clark. All of them would be smiling down at Charles. But then today he goes and the week after, the race weekend post that, he goes and stacks it again. So it's like, what are we... You know what I mean? What are we doing? Oh, we got Jacques Villeneuve doing some analysis. Trackside. Mate, you got to be careful, man. This track is beset on both sides by danger, risk, and trepidation. Everybody was saying Red Bull is done. I don't think Red Bull are done. How can they be? Not yet. Doesn't work like that. Not to say that they haven't taken a step back. Ironically, did you guys hear Christian Horner at the team principal press conference? He was talking specifically to this. And I've wondered, I've speculated what happened, fiddle break, talk, whatever. I don't know. I'm keen to understand the convergence, right? And F2, lots of crashes, yeah. Ooh, the balls are looking better. Go on then, Daniel. So Christian Horner spoke to this at the team principal's press conference. And they were asking him about Newey, or whether Newey could fix that. Are you losing? Is the downside or the downwards, is the diminishing performance of that RB20 attributable as a driver? Adrian Newey's leaving, and he just did the same thing. He was like, yeah, we're understanding it, but there's problems with the car fundamentally. There always has been. But last year, because we were so dominant, we didn't have to push the envelope as far as the setup. Christian Horner talking now, not me. However, now that there's convergence, we're having to try and extract more from the car. And so in doing so and trying to tack more downforce points on there, you've got to... Anthony V, you're a proper legend, mate. Thank you so much for joining, mate. And we'll catch up at qualifying or the race at some point. Maybe both. You're a legend. Too kind again, Anthony. And have a good day, mate. So Christian Horner's point is that the flaws have always been there, but now that they're trying to tack on more downforce points by virtue of the upgrades that they're bringing to each and every single Grand Prix race weekend, now you're seeing them because they're being pushed, whereas before you didn't see them because they didn't need to push the envelope as far as the setup of the car so much because they had time in hand, right? Their breathing space, plenty of it as far as the RB19 was concerned, or even the RB20 in the first 5 races of the year. But he says they're trying to fix for it in earnest. They are understanding the problem. They've brought a new floor with a view to widen that operating window, the sweet spot, as they say, of the RB20. And let's see how they get on. New floor settings. Let's see whether they're still on the receiving end. There's some very gremlin-y understeer. Remember Max Verstappen a couple of races ago at Hungary? Car won't turn. -5 brake bias. What's going on? The car just will not turn. Carlos Sainz, says Michael. Let's have a go. What's going on there? Oh, Bernie Eccleston on the running plan. Carlos Sainz, 144.3. He's your race. He's your session lead, in fact. Perez following 144.598. There's your guy. There's the Mexican Minister of Defense. They've shown improving this early. That's not like him. Faster than Max Verstappen, his teammate, to the tune of 0.4. Oof. Oof. Suits you, Checo Perez. Do you know what I mean? Don't hate that. Absolutely don't hate that. Yeah, Carlos will go well. Although someone else was on a podcast was talking about I really love myself some Carlos Sainz Jr. I would love for him to beat over the course of the season, notwithstanding the fact that he's raced one less race by virtue of his appendicitis surgery. I would love for Carlos Sainz, the man from Madrid, to destroy himself one Charles Leclerc. Imagine that. Imagine he beats him on points in absolute terms, but he's raced one less race. Vamos, Carlos. Smooth operator, sir. Do you know what I mean? I would love that. Lots. I would, mate, that would make me happy. Although somebody on the race podcast said that what tends to happen is that when they develop the car, Ferrari and Mercedes, all of a sudden you start to see the gap in quality and difference as far as driving, pedaling, steering inputs, both throttle and steering wheel even. The difference between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Charles Leclerc as a god tier peddler, and so too the same story is true of the boys and girls at Brackley and Brixworth. What is wrong with me? Trying to juggle too many linguistic balls. Do you know what I mean? But yes, I had to say this, that when the cars develop, Lewis starts to gap George in much the same way that Leclerc is gapping Juan Carlos Sainz Jr. My old mate, man from Madrid, smooth operator. Here's the difference between the good and the great. Charles into the wall, Max not into the wall. True. I don't disagree, Eddie, but I think it's more multifaceted than that. I am zoning in on one facet, just one facet. Yeah, unforced error. You can't have so many unforced errors and think that you're going to beat a Max Verstappen or a Lewis Hamilton in equal-ish machinery. Hang on, where's this? 175 if you're watching concurrently. Do me a favour, smahoosh that like, por favor, so the algorithm can be sure of the fact that we're not out here talking nonsense. Although sometimes we do. Sometimes we do talk nonsense. Right. Runners and riders. Carlos Sainz tops the session on a 144.3 in that Ferrari. Our Ferrari back, ladies and gents. 40% of you saying Max for pole. Oh, the humanity. 24% of you said Lando. 25% say Charles. Only 12% Oscar. It's a bit techie, that. The odds makers disagree. Let's crunch some numbers. The odds makers have, if I recall, one Lando Norris as the favourite to drop it on pole, whatever that's worth. Let me have a cheeky look here. What are the odds for pole? Right, so Lando Norris is a hot favourite. Look at that. Lando Norris, the odds makers say, have a 1 in 3 chance. That means to say if they simulated the qualifying session 100 times under this current specific set of circumstance, that Lando Norris would take pole 33% of the time. Let me just double check my maths that I'm not talking rubbish here. Yeah, 35.7% of the time they say Lando Norris would take pole. Charles Leclerc would take pole 21.7% of the time. Blimey. This is a bit techie, eh? Max Verstappen is rank outsider of the top 4. You're not going to change him. I might have to reissue the poll after this perfect information, if there is indeed such a thing. 1/8. Go on then. Lando, if they run qualifying Q3 and assuming they all get through to Q3, of course. If they run Q3 under the existing set of circumstances and permutation, Lando Norris takes pole 35.7% of the time. Charles Leclerc takes pole 21.7% of the time. Oscar Piastri takes pole 14.2% of the time. Max Verstappen, according to the odds makers, languishes in 4th and will take pole 12.5% of the time. Now vote. Shall I reissue the vote so that you guys can bake that information into your calc? Go. Lando Norris is the hot favourite to smash it. You know why I think Lando is such a hot favourite? Because his pole form, his qualifying form at least, has been SH1T hot, right? He's been dynamite that lap last time round. I mean, he hasn't missed the Dutch lap as well. Flipping Nora. He's been rapid. His ability to execute has been Verstappen-esque. You want me to change the pole, Biggs? Norris never finished better than 5th at Baku, not getting pole. You don't think so? I don't know. I think British betting situation is indeed a British betting situation, but they don't want to lose money, Ron. So this can't be British bias. Like, do you know what I mean? Nah, not on this one. I don't see a vote choice for Lewis, Michael. You know why, Michael? I have to articulate this and put words to this each and every single time, as we are 22 minutes into a qualifying session. Look where Lewis is. You got to go with it. I go with the forensic accountants, right? The F1 actuarials per se. Lando's your favourite. Charles Leclerc they're having second, 21.7%. Oscar third, Max fourth, Carlos Sainz in fifth. Lewis Hamilton isn't even fit. Mate, why am I putting Lewis in there? What, just so that we can all put on our Lewis Hopium hats and lean into confirmation? But Michael, you know what time it is already. Michael, I cannot, no, I will not sacrifice truth, value, nor objectivity at the altar of partisanship, fandom, or confirmation bias. I cannot do it. Hence why there will be no change to the poll, so that Lewis Hamilton fans can just indulge in nonsense. He's not even in top. You know what the joke is? Everybody was like, oh, put Lewis in the poll, Cameron. Put Lewis in the poll. And then what happens to Lewis in qualifying? He's nowhere. Not to say that he's fallen off, 39, soon to be 40 years old. But he just doesn't have the car underneath him all of a sudden. Let's not get bought into the recency bias because he won 3 races or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It's why would we do that to ourselves? Got to be more serious than that, you know. As far as you project, I don't like losing money. Well, a betting man. Oh, Charles Leclerc's car getting fixed again. Still feeling the downside operational ramifications of him yeeting it into the barrier in FP1. Oh, the human. Like, what are we doing here? Lando is washed, mate. He's on hards. Yeah, because Merck used his data FP3 for George. Like you are doing with Lando. No, Michael. Not like I'm doing with Lando. You know what the joke is? I don't even care for Lando. Lando's not my favourite joke. You've heard me talk about... Go on then, Michael. You've enticed me into scorch earth. Look, check this out. No, Lando will never win a Drivers' Championship if his team don't get around him and support him, just as Schumacher's team did with him between 2000 and 2004, just as Sebastian Vettel's team did with him between 2010 and 2013. What are we doing here, Michael? Are we going to have ourselves a serious conversation? I don't really care for that. I couldn't give a fudge whether Lando Norris wins a championship or never touches one in his life, or never even wins another race. I think Lando's really good driver and has his foibles and travails, but I don't care. I'm not attached to him. I don't really care. There's no subjectivity in this. What I do care about, though, is sporting excellence. And if McLaren are ever going to breathe that very rarefied air and put their hands on a Drivers' Championship as at the year 2024, then they need to take heed of what everybody, it's not just me saying this, Will Buxton, any commentator or aficionado worth their mettle now understands what they need to do. Tomorrow for qualifying, Michael. John AI will... Lewis, Lando, Piastri, but my crystal ball is cloudy. I love that, Jan. My crystal ball is as murky as the next person's. Do you know what I mean? Predict the future. Show God your plans and you'll make him laugh. Stannis, everything goes well to up to Q3, for example. Conspiracy theory settings, Stannis. Well, we've talked about that already. All you need to do to try and understand that is go back and watch the Mercedes debrief with James Allison, and he talks very eloquently in extremis ad infinitum. Oh my gosh. Destruction Derby. Gasly, get out of the way, cha. I agree with Karan Chanduk. You're getting out of the way at the wrong time, cha. Baku is a bit of a dangerous track like that sometimes. There's always going to be traffic jams. Everyone see camera zooming on Liam Lawson. Nice. It's Lewis and Ferrari's race to win. Tomorrow, behave yourself, Michael. Based upon what, Michael? And now you're just pulling my chain now, aren't you, Michael? Tongue in cheek, do you know what I mean? Please tap the like button, guys and girls. Tadeus, you're a legend, mate. Tadeus, let me know if you fancy yourself a cheeky blues spanner, mate. Cameron, your thoughts on how Max's qualifying and race pace has dropped off while Checo's has remained the same? Yeah, Checo's insinuating that something's happened to Max's car that hasn't happened to his. His soundbite was something to the effect of, Max now all of a sudden is suffering from the problems that I've been suffering from all season. What's changed? I don't know. And again, it felt like he was leaning into fiddle break conspiracy gates, which I can't confirm or deny the veracity of that. Something's happened, right? But again, if you look at Mark Hughes' analysis, he would describe the principal drivers thus, no pun intended, that McLaren have caught Red Bull more than Red Bull have lost pace. What's happened with Red Bull is that they're trying to push the envelope right. Setting up the car to achieve the 10 tenths, the uppermost parameters of that RB20's performance curve is difficult. Here we are. Now there's a Sir Lewis Hamilton. Do you know what I mean? 227 of you watching can only do me a favour, smash a like button for. So I think Checo. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not close enough to the circumstance. Although, who said this? Adrian Newey was talking about this, right, as far as 2021 when he was asked whether the pressure got to Max Verstappen. And he said you can always tell if the dominant driver has been dominating like 90% of the season and then all of a sudden the gap between the dominant driver and the subservient one, Max and Checo respectively, if all of a sudden it minimises and becomes super close, then you know something's happened. Unless something has happened to the car, then you know something's happened to the dominant driver. That was the insinuation of Adrian Newey, by the way. That was his proof positive that the pressure towards the latter stages of the 2021 championship were indeed getting to 1-3, soon to be 4-time champion, some say, Maximilian Verstappen. I love seeing the radio feed. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. It's techie though, Mike. I don't know how long that will last because I'm seeking alpha in putting that up there, but it does add a lot of value. Cam, did you see the new podcast? I did indeed. There was a couple of them though, wasn't there? To which new podcast are you referring, Michael? Purple from Verstappen. Let's have a gander. Still your race lead or session lead even. Carlos Sainz Jr. on a 143.9. Are Ferrari back therefore? I don't think we can use this as proof beyond reasonable doubt just yet, but they've solved for some of the ills, right? No longer is bouncing the thing that it was in race weekends past. So it's a bit techie this. Cam, did you see when Newey said Red Bull was never a real startup team? I've heard him talk like that. I mean, in his book he talks about signing for Red Bull in the first place and flying out to Austria to have a face-to-face meet with Dietrich Mateschitz and playing hardball with Dietrich, saying, listen, this is my number, chap, and if I don't get this, then I'm gonzo, said Adrian Newey. And Dietrich was like, all right, then cool. And then when Newey went to turn around and walk out the door, get back in the old helicopter, Dietrich was like, hang on. Why? Because David Coulthard had told him, Max Verstappen struggling. Oh no, it's not Max, is that Colapinto? It is Max. Hang on, let's read that message. This is important in the grand scheme of things now. Oh, visibility is the thing that Maximilian Verstappen is struggling with, apparently. Not anything to do as of yet with the handling of the car. Let's hear from Max again. Max still experiencing issues with something. Visibility this time. Perez hits the button but doesn't say anything. 210 of you watching Kokona, do me a favour, smash the like, por favor. It means much. We are 30 minutes away from a checkered flag. This, the FP2 session of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix 2024. Oh, the humanity. Daniel 200 in the chat. I know, Daniel, the numbers are really bad, aren't they? Yeah. You're a legend, Daniel. Let me know if you fancy yourself a cheeky blue spanner. So, Michael, finish the story. Which story, Michael? I don't even know what I'm on about. Can't remember. Remind me, Michael, and I'll pick up my my erstwhile train of thought. The game has changed, I think. I think Lando, Russell, Leclerc, Piastri are on a high LVL. The lazy comparison is kinder. It fits, but the LVL is higher, if that makes sense. Murray, I'm far too untrendy to understand your very sexy acronyms. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, come Lister. You're a legend, Daddy. I'm missing out, sir. Why has Russell not done any laps? I have no idea. Probably out here just tinkering his setups just yet. Has he not done any laps? That surprises me, actually. Not true. Russell's done a 148.206. So not the fastest, but maybe he's race simulations for once. I don't know. Fastest lap, got a 140.20. You'll be quicker than that this year. Christian Horner. You're talking about Red Bull. Oh, I was talking about Red. Okay. New getting into the helicopter. Oh yeah. Okay. So in Adrian's book, he talks about his first interactions with Dietrich Mateschitz, that Coulthard beforehand, having worked with Adrian Newey back in the day at McLaren, had told, have I got those numbers right? McLaren and Williams, right? So David Coulthard in 1994, it was Damon and Senna. When Senna passed tragically at the San Marino Grand Prix, David Coulthard took Senna's seat, right? So Coulthard had worked with Adrian Newey at Williams in 94, and then later on at McLaren 99, 98, 99, I want to say. So with that knowledge in hand, when they signed David Coulthard as their franchise driver in 2005, when Red Bull bought Jaguar, the former team, the team that was, Coulthard spoke to Dietrich Mateschitz, head CEO, gaffer at the Bulls that are read as an energy drinks company, and said, listen, if you want this team to go anywhere, you need to get yourself one Adrian Newey. Oh, and by the way, there's another good story that David Coulthard said. They said that when McLaren realised that he was leaving, such douchebags were McLaren back in the day, the team that Lewis Hamilton used to drive for, and probably half the reason why he left. McLaren under Ron Dennis had a dude called Martin Whitmarsh, and they were doing some driving exhibition, and they held this like leaving speech. And Martin Whitmarsh said something. He was like, I think they bought him a bike, but knowing that Coulthard was leaving as a parting joke, Martin Whitmarsh bought Coulthard a bike, and in this presentation thing, he was like, he cracked this joke to Coulthard. He said, "On your bike, son," which in British colloquialisms means go away, be off with you, that's enough, get out of here, basically. And Coulthard was like, really? Is that the respect that you're going to treat me with after all that I've done for McLaren, after all of the sidesteps and team orders that I've had to absorb for Mika Hakkinen, and after everything that I've done, this is how you're going to treat me on your bike, son? Coulthard talks about this on the Beyond the Grid podcast with Clarkson. Coulthard, like, you know what? So Coulthard went up to Martin Whitmarsh, so Coulthard says, and he says, you know what, mate, you're a douchebag, and I don't like the way that you talked to me or treated me all this while. In return, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave your team, and I'm not done here. I'm going to join another team, and when I join whatever team I'm joining, I'm taking all of your best engineers with me. Please see Paul Monahan. Please see Adrian Newey. I'm going to take them all, and then let's see how you get on then. So David Coulthard went when Red Bull said that they were going to sign him, and again, he was going to be the franchise player at the time in 2005. David Coulthard said, you know what, I'm coming, but if you're serious, sign Paul Monahan and sign yourself one Adrian Newey. And Dietrich was like, by that time, David Coulthard had the ear of one Dietrich Mateschitz, right? And Dietrich said, all right then, cool. Hence why they invited Adrian Newey over, helicoptered him, or flew him, and then flew him over to Austria, and then helicoptered him over to Helmut Marko's pad. But Adrian Newey he was playing hardball, right? I need this amount of money, and Dietrich was like, nah, I'm not paying you that amount of money. You might be good, but you can't be that good. So Adrian was like, all right, then cool. Knowing his worth, went away, and again, parallels to the recent debacle over the last couple of weeks. Sign Adrian Newey is the mission that the F1 teams had, should they have chosen to accept it. But yeah, Adrian was like, I'm out, and Dietrich was like, okay, if you're going to play hardball, then we need you for this project, this Red Bull Racing project. In 2005, we need ourselves one Adrian Newey. Because why? Well, because David Coulthard said, and Dietrich trusted David Coulthard. Checo Perez getting the number one treatment. Well, it's Baku, isn't it? Let's see how that works out in Q3. I don't want to be too premature. Almost Leclerc us. Oh my gosh. Say it's not so. He can't stack it again. I'm just watching now. He's got to back out of there if he does that same thing again. Gotta back out of it, mate. Like, be more sensible. Stop being Tim Nice but dim Charles Leclerc. It's nonsense. Level of a lazy is way less than a Leclerc. But the career in Michael, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Murray. Murray. Oof, bloody Nora Colapinto. Don't stack it again, mate. Oh, Colapinto. Cheeky love kiss. That's the same place where Charles crashed a couple of years ago, isn't it? No, I think there's similarity. Not the same, but very similar. Talking about Charles Leclerc and Jean Alesi, obviously. I think they don't look the same. Oh my gosh, Charles. Thank the racing gods for that cheeky, timely oversteer moment. I'll tell you what it is with Charles. Look, Jean Alesi, once upon a time, was a very quick driver, came on with a lot of promise, and they a lot was hoped of him as far as his potential. Ultimately, Jean Alesi's career, the epitaph on it will be one of unfulfilled potential. Hence where the comparison comes from, and why, disparagingly, very cheekily and banterfully, I call sometimes Charles Leclerc modern day Jean Alesi, particularly on a day like today, as at the 13th of the night, 2024, when he stacked it into the barrier yet again. Only the week after, all Charles Fossey fans were claiming once again that he's the second coming, that he is Ayrton Senna reincarnate. I just say this to say this. Take all of these things in long term, right? Nothing's ever as good or as bad as you think it might be, but Charles Leclerc fans tend to do one of these, right? Oh my God, he's Clark Kent. Look at him. Look how handsome he is. He has to be the best driver that we've ever seen. Like, chill out, man. Makes a lot of mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Love a story time. Jomo, I get that from Mr. Windsor, don't know. Mr. Windsor story times, mate. One day when I grow up, maybe I'll get to that level of oratory skill. Maybe if I'm lucky and I practice and eat my Weetabix in the morning. I think it's 100%, Barack. I missed. How difficult do you think Mark Webber was to manage? I knew he talks about this as well. To manage in light of the recent papaya rules being dropped. Marco, clarify. Are you talking about in his career, or are you talking about as far as his standing as Oscar Jack Piastri's manager? Let me know. More than a touch, I know. It was a bump, wasn't it? How about Marco losing a volcano lair like the James Bond? I don't know, Max. Kristen is very right. Chat, please smash. You're a legend, lazy. Every turn is a dice rolling back, especially if you're modern day Jean Lazy, apparently. Cam, do you watch anime? Sometimes. I've been into what am I watching at the moment? This thing on Netflix called Love, Death and Robots, I think. There's an episode on there that's brilliant called Semi Blue. Mate, it's only 8 minutes long, but it's quite poignant. Different to the traditional F1 chat, but it's sometimes you got to diversify, bloody Nora, Freudian slip, Cameron. You got to diversify your the material, your portfolio as far as the content you ingest. Can't always be F1 all the time, right? You've got to switch it up a bit sometimes. And I am partial to a cheeky Netflix piece. Content is content is content. So. Can be only a matter of time before Verstappen returns. Michael, behave yourself. It's different though, Michael. Go on then, Michael. I know what you're doing there, Michael. You are leaning into the confirmation bias from which I recoil so so frequently. So what's the word I'm looking for here? Come on, Cameron, with your vernacular. So instinctively. You said he can get to work in January. Yeah, he's well, he'll be working before. They'll be having conversations, but officially I think he did start in March. I think. Or maybe January the 2nd. I don't know, I can't remember. Autosport is gonna crash. Go on then, Michael. Since you're you keep beating that mash crash must happen drum. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, does Matt? He just doesn't. Even though he's struggling with the car, you saw Imola, you saw Spain. Lando Norris should have won both those races. But such an automotive pugilist or an automotive pugilistic behemoth is, I said that wrong, butchered it. Behemoth is Max Verstappen. You just can't beat. He's just struggled to beat him. Do you know what I mean? In a very different way than a Charles Leclerc. Cam ignoring the Newey comment I see. Newey said he can get to work in January. I talked to it, Michael. Should out, mate. About that barrier, hold my beer. Jan, it's not bad, is it? That series. Love, Death and Robots. Jeez. You confirmed it. Wasn't honest with myself. What could that mean, Cam? Wasn't honest with myself. Oh yeah. So if we're talking about Newey still, let me just do runners and riders, since Newey's absorbing time. We are T-minus 17 minutes, and we've just been talking about Newey, but whatever. Currently, runners and riders, your race lead or session lead even, Checo Perez, the man formerly known as Mexican Minister of Defence, on a 143.490. Sir Lewis, Carl, Davidson, Hamilton on a 143.550 shortly thereafter. Sainz, Piastri, Verstappen in fourth, in fifth even. All on mediums, apart from Lewis on hards. That bodes well. That bodes well, to be fair. There's your top five. And is there any need to go further on? Does anybody even watch those positions? What was Newey talking about when he said be honest with himself? Of course he was talking. Look, here's my thesis. And again, connecting dots potentially, a bit of cheeky apophonia. Connecting dots that potentially shouldn't be connected as far as causality. But here's my thesis. I'll pitch the question at you this way. I think the better question, Michael, is this. What was the negotiating leverage that Newey and Eddie Jordan used to expedite for the period of gardening? That gardening leave should have been longer than it is, right? There's no way that you're going to tell me that Red Bull, in Adrian Newey's contract, as it was written at the time, didn't have an extended period of gardening leave, so that Newey couldn't just leave at the drop of a hat and join another team. Why? Well, because intellectual property is key, right? And a team's success in Formula One will always be a function of that. Therefore, why would you have somebody leave so quickly and be able to copy and paste the intellectual property accrued from their tenure at the team in their new role at the new team? In this case, Adrian Newey from Red Bull to Adrian Newey at Aston Martin, the team, the house that Lawrence Stroll built. So his gardening leave, 100% per his contract, would have been longer than it was. There's no way that in his contract as a term he'd be able to join a team as soon as next year. That is bonkers. He's only just left this year. That's chaos. Cardile and Loic Serra, even they're not even as senior as Adrian Newey or instrumental as far as their team success respectively. So how something's happened there, 100%. There's been some sort of negotiation. Adrian Newey didn't want such an extended period as a sabbatical or gardening leave. He wanted to get back into action. He said on a gazillion occasions that his dad, towards the latter stages of his life, as far as his cerebral function, was diminished. And Adrian Newey desperately wants to stay sharp for as long as possible. Why? Because his good friend Bernie Ecclestone told him to. Stay active, mate. Build cars for as long as possible. You love to do it. You get paid very well. Stay in the game. Don't retire, especially if you harbour aspirations to remain as sharp and as stable cerebrally and cognitively for as long as possible. Hence why Adrian Newey wanted to hang around, and I've lost my bloody train of thought. There's a reason why I'm telling you guys. The sabbatical and gardening leave. Right. So now that we know there was something in that contract, I'm sure that Eddie Jordan, the legend that is manager of Adrian Newey, would have negotiated, leveraged something, a make weight, to make sure that Adrian Newey can jump back on his cerebral horse as soon as possible, right? Have a cheeky break. Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump settings. I'm a little bit tired after his long run. Go on a break and then come back straight away. No 2 or 3 year gardening leave, which is what I anticipate would have been written into the terms and conditions of his contract. Why is that important? Again, apophonia, connecting the root causality dots, potentially dotted line ones. Here's what I think happened. I think as part of Adrian's because he would have been closer to that whole PR gate than I think we realise or have given anyone's given him credit for, because Christian and Adrian shared a PA. And if indeed it was the PA that leveraged all kind of accusations against Christian, then Adrian Newey would be close to that. So he would know, would be having conversations with Jos, he'd be having conversations with Max, he'd be having conversations with the PA. He'd be closer to that circumstance than anybody else. So Eddie Jordan, being the brilliant commercial mind that I think he is, would have said, you know what, we will sign this NDA. Adrian knew when he leaves, when people ask him why he left, we won't mention any allegations, we won't mention PA, we won't mention any of that. If you do us this one solid and you minimise the length of his gardening leave. I know it says 2 years or 3 years or whatever that he can't join a team. Let's cut it down to 6 to 12 months, and then Adrian Newey will sign this NDA and we'll never hear about PA Gate again, not from Adrian Newey's mouth, and you guys can crack on. So I think Christian Horner would have looked at that and be like, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I will take that. No more downside PR ramifications from my standpoint or anybody else's as far as this nightmare that was Allegation Gate earlier on this year, because Adrian he'll know where all the dead bodies are buried as far as that. Because I'm sure that's his mate. That's his PA that he shares with Christian Horner. So do you know what I mean? So and I think to the point, that's Adrian Newey's terminology when he talks about, if I'm being honest with myself, it's twofold, right? First, he wanted to be challenged. He said already that statistically, he always saw himself just riding it out at Red Bull, just sailing off into the sunset, going through to an age 70 years old or thereabouts. About 70 years old. Well, he said he's going to do another 5 years and then become a consultant part-time. So he's probably going to go to his like 75 in some role. It'll look like something, a consultant, a part-time role. He'll go long because he wants to. But as far as Red Bull, he said that he didn't want to just live off like his record statistics. And he said as far as the challenge, he goes, he was just trying to be honest with himself, right? Being that there is this thing going on, Christian Horner allegation gate, that he can't talk about, because if he talks about it, then he'll probably be in breach of his NDA or his contract. That's what I think. I'm connecting the dots massively, but there's a reason why Adrian Newey is able to start work so quickly on the Aston Martin project, and that hasn't been discussed. And I think there's a reason behind. There is 100% an ostensible reason why that hasn't been discussed. That's the truth. Well, he can't be on it. What do you want him to do, Michael? He wasn't honest cheating. What do you want him to do, Michael? To come out? Oh, Michael, you're a conspiracy theorist for the days, sir. Newey confirmed it. I don't think he confirmed cheating. No, he didn't. When he talked about the car, he talked about all the bits that they put on there, the parameters, the dimensions, the aerodynamic upside from having the driver pushed a little bit further back, doing the nose cone shorter and stouter, and optimizing for the airflow going through to the Venturi tunnels and the wing beam, etc., etc. So too, he talked about the gearbox casing and that they didn't have a lot of play or dimension room left, because again, he tried to pack the car in so tightly and be so efficient with its aerodynamic layout. That the gearbox didn't even have an aero sump, which means they had to do some very clever things with the back of the car aerodynamically, hence why they were left to have push. Again, traditionally, conventional wisdom suggests in ground effect era, as far as F1 cars are at least, you have pull rods on the back and push at the front. Adrian Newey to this configuration, this parameter, the dimensions that this idea of a car required, he switched it around, didn't he? Push rods at the back, pull rods at the front, again, so that they could do that. The gearbox casing didn't have a lot of room, and do some very sexy things with aero at the back, optimized for it. Wasn't honest with myself. What could that mean? Talked about it already, Michael. Sorry, I'm reading Lando P16. Talking too much. What a coincidence. Yeah, loose was on hard. In F1, cheating is a wrong term. The regulations is a living dot. It's a moving goal, but I agree with that, Ron. You're absolutely on the money. Charles Leclerc still top of the pops. The humanity. What's going on here? 143.4. That's not bad from the man some call modern day Shauna Lazy. Do you know what I mean? Behrman 2 right there next to Hulkenberg. So your runners and riders with T-minus 8 minutes remaining of this, the second free practice session of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Leclerc session topping 143.484.5 as near as makes no difference. Perez, Hamilton on hards by the way though, 143.550. That bodes well for Lewis Hamilton fans around the world. Sainz in 4th, Piastri in 5th, Verstappen all the way down in 6th, 144.0 on mediums too. Oh, the humanity. Stroll, 144.0 in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, Hulkenberg, Russell and Behrman. Behrman, not a gazillion miles away from Hulkenberg, is he? He'd be pleased with that. He will be very pleased with that, as he should. As an F1 virgin. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? It's the M25 on that track at the moment. It's very congested, eh? Thought mediums would be +7. They call a conspiracy theory, but never call it a lie. How do you know? Is the issue. Guesswork, eh? Everyone is going off. I think the track's getting cooler, isn't it? Let me see the track temperature quickly. Track temperatures 43.3. Air temperature 28.2. I suspect that the track will be devolving as opposed to evolving as far as as far as the grip that it's offering. Hamilton dominance could bore fans next year. Behave yourself, Michael. The outrage. How? So I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But is it the most likely of outcomes? Somehow. I do not think so, sir. Lazy. Michael, the downfall started in Miami. It wasn't overnight. Suzuka. That was the first race then when Adrian Newey was banned from the technical meetings, right? No longer could he have input into that car because they didn't want him to run away and steal their intellectual property. I'm sure he could fix that car. But he's not allowed to. Do you know what I mean? George Russell complaining about understeer. Charles Leclerc saying something that's ineligible. No, they're still testing. Qualifying is where we have a better idea of who can do what is required. Exactly. As Daniel, the legend that is, has said, that this is just a fact-finding mission, right? Go out and get your automotive due diligence on. Oh, when is George not complaining? And Michael, you can say it for most of them, mate. I mean, if Lewis Hamilton is our guy, then I mean, if Lewis Hamilton, all right, let's take a bet over the next 5 minutes. So I can't see a Lewis Hamilton team radio between now and the end of this stream. Lewis Hamilton will have a piece of radio where he's complaining about something. If I know Lewis Hamilton. Not a problem. Let's fix it, Lewis. That just take that to the bank. If probability is indeed a thing, the Bear is having a strong debut with Haas. I don't hate it. And he needs that, right? He needs to continue building on his appearance, his impromptu appearance in that Scuderia Ferrari car at Jeddah this season. Do you know what I mean? Deputising for one Carlos Sainz Jr., the man from Madrid. Now they're all testing. Yeah, right. I'm waiting for this. I don't want Lewis to make a mug of me. He's even out now. He's probably not even out, is he? That's why. Let's have a look, see he's out. Lewis is out. Go on then. T-minus 4 minutes between now and then. I will bet everything that I own that we'll get a cheeky complaining is part of the job. That's how you fix cars. Well said, Joshua. I don't hate that. That is indeed how you... There is track time, lap time indeed in a cheeky constructive pushback and moan. The diversity sponsors is why. Oh dear. That's quick from Charles. I need to go away and take a look at these laps to try and understand better who is Who's in the pole position for pole position tomorrow, eh? T minus 3 minutes and 17 seconds before we get a checkered flag. This FP2 session. Oh, the humanity. Interesting session. I'm not sure what I'm not even... Go on then. Let's have a look at the Aston Martins. But again, let me not interpret this like it is a qualifying session. The gap between Stroll and Alonso, 0.6 tenths. Yeah, Alonso is doing race sims, isn't he? He hasn't gone quick there. Both Alpines all the way down in the bottom, as you would expect. Lando Norris, however, 145.1. Lando's focusing on race sims, isn't he? Doesn't want a repeat of the nonsense that was last race. Doesn't want to be left out there doing a 2-stop when the Apex Predator strategy was a 1-stop. 145.1 from Lando. Bloody Norris. Nearest makes no difference. 1.5 seconds off the pace. Piastri up there on a 143.983. Is that wise from Lando? I think that actually might be smart from Lando. I think he needs to put all his eggs in the race strategy basket now, because ultimately you don't get any points for qualifying now. Team orders. Cam Lewis will get pole. Oof. Cam, what were the quali pole votes? 40% Max. 26% Lando. 25% Charles. George has an issue. Told to box. Box. George's engineer says we have an issue with the car. Oh, the humanity for the boys and girls over at Brackley and Brixton. Of course, when he's slow, it's problems with the car always. I mean, I feel like you're hating just a tad, Michael. Do you know what I mean? Is it hateration Fridays? Not long left. 1 minute, 10 seconds on the clock. Kimi broke King George's car. Oh no. Terminally so. Oh no. Say it's not so. Leclerc back a race lap and quali record. Put some respect on his name. He's quick around here, I'll be honest with you. Just needs to try and keep it out of the barrier. Do you know what I mean? That might help if he harbours aspirations and ambitions to drop it purple pole tomorrow morning. Gonna get taken. It's early. We'll be live tomorrow morning, half an hour before lights out for quali, because it's gonna get very techie. And we'll try and go longer a little later on this afternoon, so as I can get on my work out the shop. Bouncing. Oof, Ted Kravitz talking about particles from the engine in the oil. Oh no. Oh no. Ted Kravitz talking the hot stuff. Is worries from the boys and girls at Brackley and Brixworth of King George Russell's car, first of his name, that maybe that engine got a Baku race distance in it? Potentially not. Close call. Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton looking all right for Perez will go well. He has to go well. He's got no choice now. He'll have to go well. Well, what does this practice say? If we know Max is generally 0.4 quicker. He won't be 0.4 quicker around there. Remember, this is a street circuit, and Checo Perez, for all of his foibles and his material underperformance, is himself a street king. Why? Well, because the time in a track like this or a Monaco is gained by it's on the combines exit, right? These front rear limited tracks, even front limited being a Silverstone or a Spa, but a Baku, all your time is gained. A lot dissimilar to Monaco or an Austria, right? All your time is gained on the exit. Your ability to jump on the throttle as soon as possible post apex, and that's the thing that minimum speed turns as well. Rascasse at Monaco, please see, and that's what your boy, the modern day, the man formerly known as the Mexican Ministry of Defense, excels at. When's the last time Lewis had issues? Sad day. We only have to. No, don't behave yourself, lazy. You're a legend, mate. Moderator extraordinaire setting. Why is Lewis Hamilton doing his hand like this? That was really weird. Is he experiencing some cramp? No, mate. Do me a favour, smash a like if you could, please. as we round third base on the stream. Ferrari does look quick, Joshua. Two Kings, top P2. When's the last time? Right, go on then. Let's have a new runners and riders. Leclerc, 143.484. See, you can't fault him really. Right? Crack stacks the car, comes back. Purple sectors. Fair play, props to him. He's quick. Nobody's not saying he's quick, but what I am saying is he does like to make a lot of mistakes. Perez 143.4 in second. Lewis Hamilton sees out the podium places. For this, your second free practice session of Azerbaijan. Leclerc living rent-free modern. Cameron 40. He's a 40-year-old grandpa, mate. I'm a 40-year-old grandpa. This is the truth. His hands are tied from driving a tractor to P3. Checo won't qualify ahead of Max. Not in RB. Well, I wouldn't. This is the only track my Lewis Hamilton bets failed, by the way, on its head. But I wouldn't. This is probably the only track around which I wouldn't rule out Checo out qualifying Max Verstappen, just because he's an understeer merchant. This is a street track. And Checo Perez likes to get on. His skill, the one thing that he excels at as far as mechanics and driver skills, is the ability to jump on the throttle really well on an oversteery, a rear-wheeled drive Formula 1 car around a circuit like Baku that's so rear limited. Checo just goes well. Right, guys, I'm going to go. 8 p.m. tonight, and we'll go long. There's stuff that we need to talk about. Newey, McLaren, all that jazz. 30 minutes before quali, we'll go live. And 30 minutes before lights out for the race on Sunday. As per usual, you guys have been legends. This channel is nothing without you guys. Your back and forth, your modes of discourse, each and every single time. Fact checking me, telling me that I'm noddy and that my F1 thesis doesn't, nor will it ever, hold water. Between now and next time, as always, remember to look but never stare.